Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 239 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a fun week. Excited to be here with all of you tonight. For anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that y'all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we're calling it Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we possibly can. And three, I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional stream. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. I see people tuning in from all over the world tonight. We got Charlie from Pennsylvania. Nice to have you here, Charlie. Paranormal Gateway, as usual, from Ohio. Before I forget, we have awesome shows on StreamYard. Let me just pull them up here. We have YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. Really great show if you're looking to grow on YouTube. They're both pros when it comes to all things YouTube, but it's really great because they give specific feedback on individual channels and answer questions and give feedback on things like, how should I think about my niche or understand my analytics or come up with the type of thumbnail image I should pick. So definitely check that one out. And then we have Enhance Your Live Streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick Nimmin, who, again, pro when it comes to all things video, but tune into that one for your specific live streaming questions. And then one thing we've been doing at the start of these so that we get to know a little bit more about you and you get to know a little bit more about us is a fun fact. And the fun fact we had for tonight was favorite Disney movie. Do you have a favorite Disney movie, Dan?
Yeah, I have a few. I would say when I was younger, I mean, it's not today, but when I was younger, I think my favorite Disney movie was probably Robin Hood. I don't know if anyone's actually seen it, but it was the cartoon Robin Hood where there was a fox, essentially. That was my biggest one when I was a kid. How about you?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely hard to pick. There was a bunch that I would watch regularly. I think I have to maybe go with the one I watched the most times, which I think was Lion King. So it was probably Lion King for me. Cool. Let's start going through some of the questions. We do have some topics to hit on tonight. So some of the first questions we had, one was from Chris Green. Chris says, can we have a real-time audio meter? Thanks. Yeah, that's a good question, Chris. It's definitely something that we're interested in. We want to add more audio functionality. It's definitely, especially now that we've added local recordings and more of the recording functionality to StreamYard. It's something that we do get requested pretty frequently is more functionality when it comes to checking how loud you are and having a better sense of what's going on with the audio. So we do want to do more there. And if you've never heard of local recordings before, it's a feature we launched a few months ago now that is really great if you're looking to get the best possible quality out of your recording. So the way that it works is that instead of basically having to only send a copy of your recording to StreamYard, you also record a copy directly to your computer, and so does your guest. So if your guest has a bad connection, or if you even have a bad connection, it's going to be still high quality because it's recorded on your own computer and then gets slowly uploaded in the background. So it can be a really good solution if you're trying to get the best possible quality for an interview or a podcast or something like that.
Yep.
All right, let's see what else we had for tonight. DePaul says, any plans on integrating AI into StreamYard to help with title ideas or descriptions? Yeah, there's lots of AI discussions happening at StreamYard. Do you want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, definitely. So it's hard to say exactly what we'll end up using AI for. Obviously, or maybe not obviously, but we did just announce two AI features. So one was background noise removal and the other one was touch-up filter, just to kind of clean up your appearance if you want to use that. Those were kind of some of our first AI features. Obviously, we also have the background removal effect. So those are kind of the AI features we have so far. We're working on several more. This is one of the features we are exploring. We just want to make sure it actually works really well. So we'll only release it if we find we can get it to actually help people and people find it to be pretty useful. But it is something we're open to adding. And there's quite a few other AI features we're also experimenting with. So not just that one.
Cool. John says, just use local recordings for the first time via StreamYard this week. Works well. Glad it's working well for you, John Lacey. Super happy to hear that. Similar from Dave, love local recordings for better video and audio quality. Then I can enhance it afterwards with video editing software. Thank you, StreamYard. Awesome, Dave. Thank you for using it. That's awesome. Let's see what else we had. Celtic says, the only option I have for playing videos smoothly is the video clips, but video clips are full screen. Sadly, this means no on-screen participant features. Might this change? Yeah, that's a good question, Celtic World. So it's certainly possible. So you're absolutely right that right now, part of the reason why video clips are popular is that it actually gets directly uploaded to StreamYard. So when it comes to sharing a file locally or screen sharing, that's sort of coming directly from your device. So it's a little bit extra processing happening on your computer. Whereas with the video clip, it's kind of cool. You can fully send it to StreamYard, so StreamYard's system can handle the display. It's definitely possible. Like I've alluded to in the past, like we obviously did the custom layouts, and there's even bigger set of features coming to keep things really simple. But for folks that do want to go deeper and have that extra level of control when it comes to the stream, there is some exciting stuff happening there that might address some of this for you. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's something we always want to try and optimize.
Cool. And but you should, although it does depend more on your computer, like you should be able to get smooth playback. So if you are having trouble playing it smoothly, if you haven't already reached out to support, I would chat with them. They might be able to walk through some of the basic troubleshooting stuff to test. Like sometimes it's as simple as like, a browser extension doing something weird if you're trying to screen share. There's just all kinds of stuff it could be impacting video playback with screen sharing. So I would check with them. All right. Cool. Lots more questions here. Pete says, is there a way to try out the webinar feature? That's a good question, Pete. So right now, no, but we are currently talking about making it easier to try this out, because it definitely makes sense, especially if you've invested a lot into a webinar, that you want to be able to sort of see how everything works before purchasing a product. But if you support's always willing to work with you. So if you reach out, if you go to StreamYard.com/contact and chat with support, I'm sure they'd be happy to give you like a week trial because for anyone who isn't aware, on air is StreamYard's webinar solution. It's both for webinars, or if you just want to host like a private live stream that's embedded into your website. And it's the lowest tier it's available on right now is the pro plan. So, and there's not really a trial for it, but if you reach out to support, I'm sure they'd be happy to give you a week or something to try it out. All right. I think that there was another one on air. Where did it go? Struggling to find it now, but there was a question asking how to set up an on air that I think I forgot to start. I think it was from Cornelius. If you are wondering like how to set it up, it is pretty intuitive, like right from the interface. So the same way that you go about creating a live stream works exactly the same with a webinar. You just go ahead and click create, and instead of selecting the live stream option, there's an option to do an on-air webinar. And it's super easy to just test out too, right? Because you can just create one, test it, and make sure that it works how you'd expect before posting it and going out live to your audience.
Yeah, it's not posted. I mean, the link itself, if you share it, obviously somebody can go to it and view, but it's not shared on some kind of discovery page where other people are just suddenly going to find your test webinar or anything. So you can create as many test webinars as you want. Yeah, that is only on the pro plan and higher, but like Geige said, you can reach out to our support team if you want to just get a free trial of it. And then we will hopefully have something just to make it easier to get a free trial at some point.
Yep. All right. See lots of other questions here, but I want to make sure we don't miss some of the topics we wanted to make sure we hit on. So one of those was YouTube member milestone chats. So last week we mentioned it was rolling out. Now it's full. It should be fully out for everyone. So you should have access to this now if you're waiting for it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. If you don't know what YouTube member milestone chats are, basically if you have access to the YouTube members feature, it's basically a way for you to celebrate your audience being a member for a certain amount of time. So like each month someone gets the ability to sort of prompt the host and say like, hey, I've been a member for 3 months, and now you can display this information in StreamYard.
Yep. Yeah, no, pretty exciting. So very similar to super chats, super stickers. If you use those before, they'll be automatically starred if you're familiar with that behavior with super stickers and super chats. So every time you get a member milestone comment, which is actually it's quite a lot of them. Like for those of you that get member milestones and also get new member and super chats and things like that, you'll probably know that the member milestone chats are a big part of those. So yeah, really nice to have support for those.
Cool. And the other one I wanted to briefly mention was if any of you have any feedback on these features. So if there's anything else you'd like to see when it comes to stuff like member milestone chats in the future, definitely let us know. And then the other recent stuff, if you have any feedback. So to remind you, some of the newer ones. One was the touch-up AI filter, the touch-up AI feature for basically just enhancing how you look without having to wear makeup and stuff. There was also the background noise removal feature. And then recently also the ability to post directly from StreamYard onto YouTube. So we had YouTube Shorts and we still have YouTube Shorts, but this is the ability if you want to post a longer edited video to YouTube, you can now do that directly from StreamYard's editor.
Yep.
All right, let's see what else we had here. Melnet says, will the chat be combined in the future on co-hosting with guest destinations? The chat would really love to see everyone chatting during the live stream. So you're probably already aware of this, Melnet, but all of the chats do come into the studio area, right? So like you as a host or your co-host should be able to see all the chats from all the channels that you're connected to. If you mean when it comes to the viewer side, so basically like reposting comments from other platforms onto the main platform, it's definitely something we talked about. The biggest downside is it's going to basically look like a bot is posting it because we'd essentially have to post it on the user's behalf, which can look kind of weird. So we've sort of been hesitant to add something like that. So because basically what it would look like is StreamYard posting in your chat saying like, Jerry said from Facebook that this or wherever that this happened. So far our solution has been like all the comments come in the studio, you feature the ones that you want to talk about so everybody sees them in that sense. But something that we'll continue to be open to.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like there's not a solution on YouTube for doing that, YouTube or Facebook or the others, to merge in the chats without us doing something like that. But yeah, we do find actually one suggestion I would just give though, and it depends on the type of show, but say like for our show, for example, we're streaming to 4 different places right now, and we obviously get the comments from all 4 of them. And then when we show them, or except Twitter, just because they don't support that right now. So LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, we get comments, and then we're just putting them on screen from all the different platforms, and it kind of feels a little bit more like everyone's included in the same chat. I know it's not the same as actually being able to chat directly with them. But yeah, it's especially tricky, obviously, across platforms, not just, maybe YouTube would add something, for example, where you can actually combine chats somehow. I don't think they would add that, but that would be the nicest solution for it if they had something like that.
Cool. A question from Dave here. Dave says, any chance video clips size 200 megs and length 10 minutes may be upgraded by, say, 50% each? I know I can play the videos locally, but love offloading the processing power from my computer. Yeah, definitely makes sense, Dave. It's a big reason to use StreamYard for sure, is the cloud aspect of it. It's definitely possible, right? Like we want to make it as easy as possible to use features like video clips. So if I don't know, any other thoughts on that? I'd say we're definitely open to it. We want to like have as few limits as reasonably possible. Like there has to be some limits so we don't have people uploading giant videos. But we also don't want them to be so low that it's limiting the way that you're regularly using the product. So something that we'll continue to explore.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Creative Lady has some feedback on the touch-up filter. It's nice, but I'd like the ability to dial it back a bit. Eyebrows were too blurred. LOL, hashtag the yard. Feedback like that's super useful, Creative Lady. So appreciate that. We've definitely had quite a bit of feedback like that. So we're exploring that.
Yep. And I know we've asked it before on previous Ask StreamYard shows, but if anyone else has feedback on touch-up, whether it's, the perfect amount or perfect intensity, or if it's too intense or not intense enough, we'd love to know that. But our current thought is we wanted to see if we would have to add some kind of setting to it to allow you to adjust it, or if we could kind of get something that works for everyone. And it seems like probably going to end up having a setting, but we might only need just a couple options on it. So it's really simple.
Cool. There's a bunch of other questions here I'll get to. One other topic I wanted to mention that we did ask last time, but last time it was only like a minute before we had our guest on. So I wanted to give a little bit more time in case folks had other things they wanted to share. And that was the number one thing you'd like to see added to StreamYard. So we've obviously added tons of stuff over the last few months. but curious now that we have added all of these features, like, you know, local recordings on air, these types of functionalities. I'm curious if you had to pick one, the most pressing thing that you'd love to see StreamYard have. We'd be curious what that is. All right. Horace says, wanted to know, do you suggest using a mixer/interface to increase the live stream experience? Yeah, that's a good question, Horace. I think it very much depends what you're doing in the live stream. So if you're looking to do things like have lots of sound effects during the stream, like say you want to have, you know, clapping noise, or that's sort of part of your stream, like having funny sound effects or something like that, a mixer can be a very good way to easily do that, because if you are using lots of different sound effects, it's nice to have an interface where you have those different buttons and stuff to sort of use and program those. It can be a really good solution if you're doing more advanced things with audio. Like, for example, if you want to do something like a call-in and have a phone directly connected to your interface, it can be a good solution for that as well. If you have various audio sources that you want to, like, say you're doing an interview in a room that has different people talking, it can be a good solution for combining those. So it depends what you want to do. If you're just doing a show like Dan and I have no reason to use a mixer/interface, and it wouldn't really enhance the experience because we wouldn't use those things. But depending on what you're doing, it certainly could.
Cool. A lot of feedback in the chat here.
Cool.
For the number one feature.
Oh, awesome. Chris says, hey guys, will the member know they have hit a milestone in order to put a comment in the chat? Yeah, that's a good question, Chris. So it will work exactly how it works on YouTube, right? So yep. The way, I'm not super familiar with it.
They're informed about it. I'm not sure if you're familiar exactly how it works on YouTube, but basically it shows them somewhere on YouTube in the chat that they have this and they can use it, and it's once a month. And then when they use it, basically the difference here is we'll actually highlight that comment on StreamYard's end, and it looks very similar to a super chat, so they'll know it's a special comment. It'll be automatically starred. And when you show it on screen, same thing. It'll have like a nice color to it and stand out from the other comments. But on YouTube's end, it is exactly the same as it's always been, if you're familiar with that. So yeah, they are informed. It's a little subtle, but they are informed that they can do it.
Cool. And Musertai says, any info on dark mode UI display availability? So we don't have dark mode yet. It comes up quite frequently, so it is something we'd like to add in the future, Musertai. Until we do have it, our best suggestion is to use one of those extensions for now. All right. Let's see what else we had here. Awesome genealogy. Glad that the noise reduction is working well for you. Charlie says, if you get a copyright strike on your channel and can't stream, how long do you have to wait total? So I think that depends on the type of strike, Charlie. So if you just go to your YouTube channel in the area where it surfaces like information about the strike, it should show it there within YouTube. It's not something StreamYard is doing, right? Like at StreamYard, when you get a strike, you know, you can try to send a feed there. It's something that YouTube is doing. So StreamYard unfortunately doesn't have any control over that. Yep. Empire Jeff says, any plans to make an app to make streaming from cell phones easier? It's certainly something we're open to. Jeff, we want to make sure the experience is as good as possible on phones, and there are definitely some advantages, especially on iPhone with the app. So definitely something we're open to. See a few questions about Rumble integration. So you can stream to Rumble just using the RTMP feature of StreamYard. Rumble at this point does not have an API, so like it's not currently possible to have an integration like YouTube with Rumble at this point. All right. Oh yeah, there's tons of it's awesome. Tons of the feature suggestions. Creative Lady says bulk delete overlays. That's a good one. I'm surprised we haven't added that one yet. It's a pretty simple one to do, but absolutely something we want to support, Creative Lady. Yep. See a couple ones around chat overlays, so being able to have all the chat on screen. Yeah, that one's definitely come up on the past. The only hesitance there has been if someone posts something inappropriate, that's like now burned into the video. But I do know some folks just are willing to take that risk and want the chat in there. So it's something that we're open to. Yep. Dave says, love to see more brands and the ability to share assets between brands I produce monthly, quarterly, yearly, and regular shows, but need to share or remove brands throughout the year. Yeah, that's a good one, Dave. Again, shouldn't be too hard for us to give more functionality around moving things like assets around. So that's a good one.
Yep, that's cool.
Beauty Bubble says a framer to establish headspace, eye lines, and shoulder lines, as is common with mainstream broadcasting for talking head panels. Yeah, that's a cool one. There's actually there's a gentleman who produces a lot of larger events and works with clients to produce streams and larger events on StreamYard. And he actually made his own overlay that was exactly this. It was for setting that up. The name of it was funny as well. But
the hat, wasn't it? The StreamYard hat?
Yes. And it was, and it stood for, it was a funny acronym, and I'm ruining it now because I can't remember what it stood. But
yeah, basically showed like you should have your head, this high, you should be centered.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and yeah, we talked about then like, oh, we should just, make something that's just right in here so you don't have to deal with an overlay and stuff like that. So makes sense.
I'm guessing it was the head alignment tool, but I'm just.
Oh yeah, that's probably what that sounds. That's a good guess. I think that's right. Let's see. Daniel says, can I be on Facebook and YouTube at the same time? Absolutely. That's one of the really popular features of StreamYard, Daniel, is the ability to multi-stream. And you can even schedule them at the same time as well. So if you want to do a show at a specific time, you can post on both platforms and go live to both at the same time. Yep. Dana says that's right. It was the head alignment tool.
Nice. Cool.
Steven says, is it possible to have separate banners and title options for each brand? You want to take that one, Dan?
So, sort of, in the sense that you can have banner folders, as you're probably familiar with, and then brands. They're not tied together because we just found that people wanted them to be separate for the most part. And, in some case, people do want them kind of coupled where they have one banner and then one brand, and they kind of want those to be associated. In that case, I just recommend naming them the same thing to kind of remind you that they are associated, but we don't have the ability, like they're not permanently tied together where if you create a brand, it also creates, a banner folder. You just have to create them separately. For the title options, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to there. So if you maybe let me know if that's like title of the broadcast itself or that's like name tags, secondary name tags, which is obviously part of the brand. Maybe if you can just clarify that, that'd be helpful.
Cool. Josh says number one feature for him now is the ability to pause and restart recordings during a record-only broadcast. Coming extremely soon, Josh. It's in the works now. So watch out for that. Cornelius says, what plan is the noise reduction on? Yeah, Cornelius, all the new AI features are available on every plan, whether you're on free or a paid plan.
Yep.
Rocio, if I'm pronouncing your name right, when will they do a live like this, but in Spanish? That's a good question, Rocio. It's a cool idea, especially now with like the AI tools. Maybe there's a way that we could make it easier on ourselves. Right now, it's just difficult given that we're not native speakers ourselves. And if we did put something out in Spanish, we'd want to make sure it was like high quality and everything and have a channel that was sort of dedicated to it. But would be curious if that's something that's like important to you, or if the translations work okay on the current streams. Definitely something we're open to.
Yep.
Mohammed says, will TikTok and Instagram be supported as destinations? So we'd love to support both of those platforms, Mohammed. So right now it's just a matter of what they have as APIs. So right now with Instagram, they only officially allow folks to stream directly from the Instagram tool. With a few exceptions, they do have the ability to RTMP on select accounts, but they don't have an API similar to like YouTube and Facebook for broader integration. But as soon as they have that, we will support them.
Yep.
Dice Grinder says, can you add features to have different shapes for live video feeds for guests instead of just rectangle, maybe oval or circles? Yeah, that's a good request, Dice Grinders. It's likely that, again, like I mentioned before, we added custom layouts, and there's going to be sort of a V2 in terms of having more customization and being able to go deeper on your live streams. And it's likely that it could include something like that.
Yep.
Paul says, any plans for control of overlays such as dissolves? I use custom PNG banners sometimes. It would be cool if they could dissolve in and out. Same with any overlays. So very, very similar to the last question, Paul. This is these types of things like animations, like more customization when it comes to the overall look and feel, and then also, and like you said, sort of timing aspects of the stream. This is stuff that's being sort of designed and thought through in some of these deeper features that are like the next extension that was custom layouts. Vase Play says, how do you find the AI features? That's a good question, Vase. So if you just click settings, one of them is going to be under audio, which is where you can find the background removal. And the other one is going to be under camera, which is where you can find the touch-up appearance one. Horace says, how can I move my logo into the center instead of the corner like you have tonight? Yeah, that's a good question, Horace. So there's a few ways. So this is actually a background image. So we just made it part of the background, right? So if it's, so it looks like it's a logo, but really it's a logo that's part of the background image. The other way that you could do it as well is just by using a transparent overlay. So basically you make a 1280 by 720 picture, but make it transparent except for your logo. And we actually have, if you go to StreamYard.com/contact and go to the help docs in the bottom right, we have a few videos walking through how you can do that in some of the more popular editing tools. You can even do it in, I think I did a tutorial in Figma, but you can also do it in things like Google Slides and Canva and stuff like that.
You want to start up the giveaway?
Oh yeah, I lost track of the time. I appreciate these are really great feature requests. We'll definitely walk through them more carefully after the stream. Cool. I think many of you are familiar, but we always do a giveaway at the end of these streams. To be eligible, all you have to do is type in #TheYard. And tonight we'll be giving away how about a StreamYard sweater and a StreamYard duck. So we'll give you maybe 15 seconds or so to get in your #TheYards. And if you're ever keen on running a giveaway like this yourself, we actually made this tool available. If you go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, there's a video walking through exactly how to use it. And you can do exactly what Dan and I are doing. And you can even choose your own keyword. You can make it #MyAwesomeShow, whatever your show is called, and do a giveaway just like this.
And I don't think we have a picture of the sweater, but here's a picture of the duck.
It's a very high-res duck image. That's awesome. All right. So, yeah, while the #TheYards are coming in, we maybe have time for one more question. Let's see what else we had here. See a couple other questions about dark mode. Definitely in our plans, it's just a matter of timing that versus some of the other big things that we want to ship.
Yep.
Has it stayed? Oh, no, I see it's still going up slowly.
Yeah, maybe give another 20 seconds.
Heed Amy Podcast says, can we get a subscriber notification and ability to put that on screen when it happens automatically? It's a good idea, Amy. It's somewhat similar to like the chat overlay. It's quite a bit different, but yeah, it's something that we're open to for sure.
That's cool. Yeah.
Ross says, is there a way to acknowledge when someone buys YouTube memberships for other people? Does YouTube call that? I know Twitch calls it gifting. Is that how YouTube calls it?
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to remember if we can do that. I can't remember if YouTube allows us to do that through the API or not. I think we mentioned this in the past. There's some things that do allow that we don't support yet, and there's a lot of stuff they just don't allow. That may be one of the few things they actually do allow, but I can't remember if we had issues when we were kind of trying to test it out and make sure it actually worked properly. So no promises, but it is something we'll look into, Ross.
Cool.
I think we're good here, Geige.
All right, let's do it. Good
luck, everyone.
Manny, congrats. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. I think you've been a long time viewer, so it's awesome that you won. If you could send an email to contact@StreamYard.com, the team can get your address and your size for your brand new StreamYard hoodie and your StreamYard duck.
Cool. Congrats.
Awesome. And with that, this was episode 239 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure getting the chance to get your feedback and ideas on the product. We'll go through all your awesome suggestions here right after the show, and we'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.